It was just amazing, and I think we both instantly fell in love with it, and there was no concerns or any issues at that point.
When Rachel Walker and her family moved into their home in Essex 3 years ago, they couldn't believe the price they were able to rent it for. But as time went on, the issues in the house began to grow.
This is what we have done to try and protect our children from the severe black damp and mould that's up here. It's quite drastic, as you can see. All done by ourselves is vac bags that we have cut up and taped using duct tape all the way round here, section off this stairway.
The problems are all the more challenging as Rachel is registered blind, but the family is struggling to move because of financial difficulties, meaning they fail referencing. And unrelated to the damp, they were issued with a no-fault eviction order just before the pandemic began.
And it's like there's this huge black cloud just hanging over you. It follows you around everywhere. And you just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. There could be a bailiff turn up on our door at any time and serve us with a notice that we've got to leave the property. It's been 2 years. It's every single day. It's hanging over you. You wake up, check emails, check the post, see if there's anything come through, if there's any notice, if there's any changes in the situation. And there's nothing at the moment. It's probably worse not knowing, actually, than knowing that the eviction is going to happen, because we don't even have a set court date at the moment.
The family are one of 104,000 private renting families that a YouGov poll commissioned by the charity Shelter found are at risk of losing their home after falling behind on their rent or receiving an eviction notice. The charity estimates 1 in 50 children are at risk of becoming homeless this Christmas.
I just feel that uncertainty, it's something you can't explain unless you're in this situation. I think it's very, very hard for people to understand. That cloud, that uncertainty is something that we cannot handle anymore. We need something to happen and something to change, and it isn't changing.
As living costs rise, pandemic support phases out, and the fundamental lack of housing is not addressed, Shelter say they expect more eviction notices will be issued.
People have really built up debt during the pandemic, and of course people were, thankfully, protected from eviction when we had lockdowns still in place. But the ban on evictions is now gone, furlough is gone. So we're kind of seeing a perfect storm, really, where people simply cannot afford the rent.
Welcome to our abode, and this is how we have to live in our little box.
Diana was told she'd only live in this one-roomed emergency accommodation with 2 of her children for 6 weeks, but over a year later, and she's still here.
Because it's no way to live, it's no way for children to live. It's disgusting how they treat people as if we're just numbers, we're just statistics. We're not, we're human beings.
The room is over an hour from the children's school and from Diana's other grown-up children and family. But after she was served a no-fault eviction notice, it was her only option.
It's not good, is it? You want a stable, secure home, so then you can give your children a normal life. You can go back to work and go, right, you've got something for yourself, you've got something for your kids, and your kids are proud of you, and then they're the next generation.
So that's my street dance routine.
And when asked where she'd like to live next, 11-year-old Ella May doesn't ask for much.
I would probably like to live somewhere that has a house and a garden, but if I had to pick, I'd probably want to move back where we used to live.
Yeah. It's our community.
After we spoke to Diana, the council told her they'd found her a new temporary place to live. With the pandemic hitting another peak, there are calls to bring back the eviction ban, but landlords say it just puts the burden on them.
Unfortunately, what happens when you prevent possession, you prevent landlords being able to go to court, is you just shift the financial burden from the household to the landlord. What really needs to happen is money needs to be put in the pockets of those people, struggling to pay their rent.
As a parent, that you have to keep in mind and think about your children. And that is the only thing I really consider is how this is going to affect the kids. not ourselves, because we're adults, we can deal with this. But what this is doing to our kids is unbelievable and unfair.
As the sleigh bells ring, families like this one hope the doorbell does not. The magic of Christmas, a welcome distraction from the uncertainty they face.